what have been some of your best moments, as far as you started this journey of reselling? What's been some of your favorite moments?
My favorite moment actually is going to your event and meeting
Are you
people.
serious?
Yeah, that was my favorite. That was kind of like my realization that like other people out there are like, even it doesn't have to be like massive like events, you know what I mean? The event you had, what was it, like 2 or 3 months ago?
Yeah.
In meeting you and meeting Omar, and he was on the podcast,
Yeah.
and you guys are just so friendly to me. And to me, like I said, at the end of the day, being honest and like having trustworthy people that you can like get to know, to me is more important than like what we actually do, right? That to me is like really important, is like building those foundational relationships and getting to know people. So to me, that's been my favorite thing, is like going to that event and getting to know complete random strangers
Yeah.
who have no idea who I am, have no clue who I am, and just being kind.
Yeah.
To be
It's
honest,
kind of hard to
with you.
find sometimes, right?
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah, no,
Just
definitely.
genuine, honest people that that love the same stuff that you do and don't want anything from you.
Yeah.
Are just like super chill and laid back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm into, man.
Man, that's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate that, man. It means
Yeah.
a lot, because like when I started, VGS, it was just like I see my cousin, I seen, Retro Silverback. These
Yeah.
guys are not. I mean, I don't know. I think
And
they have a
I
couple.
met him too. Yeah, he was super cool.
He's a
Yeah,
super cool
super
guy, man. He
yeah.
actually gave me Super Mario the movie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he gave it to me. But
Nice.
yeah, I met him, and they don't have a lot of followers. I think he has like 200. And to me, I get a joy out of like, hey man, I'm putting these guys on the map.
Yeah.
These guys who have so little followers.
Yeah.
And even he was like, man, Johnny, I'm not trying to glaze you or nothing. He's like, but thank you for bringing me on your podcast. I feel important. He was excited, right? And that's the thing with with VGS. I never really made it a thing where it's like I'm gonna make money out of vendors.
Yeah.
I never really came with that mindset. I came more of a mindset of like, how can I help these guys, or even inspire them, or even push them,
Yeah.
give them that little push they need,
Yeah.
like Games by Omar. Right when I messaged them and we talked about on the podcast, we hit it off,
Yeah.
like 100%.
No, of
He's
course,
such
yeah,
a
he's the same- yeah,
he's
the
a
same way,
genuine
yeah,
guy,
for sure.
man. Such a great guy.
When I came to that event, I came there to gain knowledge. I knew there was gonna be vendors there selling video games, but my intent to actually go to that event was just to get to know everybody.
Wow.
That was my introduction of like, shaking hands and like getting to know people.
Was that your first ever like a video game reselling event?
It wasn't my first one that I attended. But basically that was like the first one I went to with the intent of like getting to really know about reselling and vending and all that stuff. Like even though I had like some general knowledge of it, like that was like my first true, like, I guess
You're gonna go shake some hands?
Yeah, shake some hands, man. Like, get to know people.
Wow.
And I went there specifically for that intent. So I appreciate you
No.
doing that, man.
No,
And that's
worries,
really
man.
what kind of get it. That's what really got the ball rolling, man.
Yeah, no, I know. And Omar, after before the podcast, he's like, dude, you seen Game Zen Tech's collection? And I'm like, bro, he told me about it. And I was just like, dude, I'm surprised you're not like at a store, right?
To be honest with you, that's the crazy thing. And I've had a couple of people ask me. Some people reach out to me on Instagram. I've had some people reach out to me like personally, like at some of these these events, and I've been starting to attend. And they're like, dude, like you have a crazy collection. Like I've got some rare games, and I've got some like really, really rare games, but like I have enough games to
fill up a cabinet.
To fill up a store, dude.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. Oh,
more
yeah,
than
yeah.
a cabinet.
Yeah, for sure.
To fill up a store, dude. I have like tons of games.
Man.
And I think there's one guy. I'm gonna reach out to him, but I think it's the guy. He opened a store in like Sacramento. It's like Fire and Ice.
Okay.
Have you heard of him?
Yeah,
or
heard of him. Yeah.
I noticed on one of his videos. I'm gonna reach out to him. If he's listening right now, I'm talking to you. He has a bunch of the shelf space above all his racks. It's just empty.
Wow.
And I told you earlier, like I have a bunch of like posters, standees, like all this stuff I collected when I worked as an employee, when I worked at EB Games back in the day. I'm like, you need some stuff, dude. Like I got you, So if you're listening, when I get all my stuff out here to California, man, I got some crazy stuff, dude. Like stuff you cannot find,
I bet,
anywhere.
Yeah, I bet. I know Omar was just like, bro, I don't know why the guy doesn't. He's like, yeah, he said either open up a store or fill a cabinet. He's like, dude, his stuff is so high end, dude. And I was like, dude, you got. And then I was like, oh, dude, this guy has heat, man. I'm like, bro, I can't even imagine how much money is your the whole
To be
collection
honest
worth,
with
bro.
you, I actually thought about that. I was like, man, how much? Because I mean, everybody's done that. Like,
Yeah.
how much is all my stuff actually worth? You know, at the end
Right.
of the day. And like, you know, I'll be at home and I'll just like look in like a corner where I've got like a bunch of boxes sitting. I'm like, this corner's worth like $10,000. This one game that's sitting on. I got Sunset Riders. I got a poster I'm waiting to come in from eBay. But complete Sunset Riders is anywhere between, depending on shape. See, that's why I
Yeah,
say it's
yeah, yeah.
important to price your games depending on shape. Don't try to go by price charting.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I got a poster coming in that will fully complete that Sunset Riders box I have, and it's just sitting on the shelf right now. Like that's a $400 to $1,000 game, depending on the condition, and it's just sitting there. You know, like I think about that all the time. Like, man, what's
Wow.
my collection actually worth? You
So
know,
if someone came, right, with the money and said, "Hey, Teo,
make me an offer.
I want to clear
Make
you
you an
out.
offer. I want
How much?
everything you
Yeah,
got."
everything. What's the right price?
I really would have to.
If
Well,
money
there's a
wasn't
couple
an issue,
things.
like just throw me a number, bro.
Right. If I really actually considered like everything I have, like including, remember I told you I got tons of like promotional posters from when I worked at like EB Games, GameStop. I got a bunch of standees. I got a bunch of Pokemon standees, which is like you just don't see stuff like that, right? I've went to E3 like 6 times. I used to collect all the like the freebies and stuff from E3. Nobody's got stuff like that. You know, like little lanyards and keychains and buttons and like promotional copies of video games. I think at one E3 they were giving out promotional copies of Zelda Twilight Princess on like a Nintendo DS cartridge.
Yeah.
That's selling for like $5,000, dude.
Wow.
Like they gave stuff like that out at these events, and like not everybody attended these events because I wasn't, you know, it's a trade event. So like E3 used to be you had to be a media personnel or like a reseller or a vendor to even go to those events, and then they opened it to the public, and I think that's what killed it. That's another
Yeah, 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 yeah.
story for another day.
time.
But,
Yeah.
you know, when you would go to those events, they'd give like games out. They'd give out pins, T-shirts, and things. Those are specific to those events. So I've got tons of that stuff. I've got boxes full of that stuff, man. And you know, if I was to, like, back to your question, if
Yeah.
I was to put a number on my collection, I would say it's got to be at least 6 figures somewhere. Like maybe 125,000. I'd be like, you can have
Cash
everything.
me out.
Yeah,
You say cash right now. Give me 125.
125K, and it's all yours. I'll give you everything.
Everything. Man.
I would say
I still think that's a little low though.
it might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest with you, because like even just looking at my Super Nintendo collection, I'm pretty sure it's like anywhere between 10 to 15K. You know, like at the end of the day, and I still got a lot of game boxes that I haven't even completed. I'm just talking about stuff I've got complete. I've probably got like 50 game boxes that are just flat. I haven't even like folded them up and like completed them yet. Just boxes, just empty boxes, just sitting.
Where'd you
on my
get those
shelf.
boxes?
Buying them from people, buying them off, you know, of people from auctions, you know, going on eBay even, you know, and making offers to people like, hey,
Never been folded to the box. They're flat.
They're flat.
Straight from the
flat.
press.
Yep.
Wow.
I think they were probably maybe they were folded at one point. Let me just back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe they were folded at one point, but like they belonged to like a rental store or something like that. You see what I'm saying? And they just kept them flat and just like have them. Because I know there's a couple other YouTubers out there. They'll buy collections of people who used to own rental stores, and they'll
Yeah.
come like that. So maybe they were bundled up at one point, and then just
Oh my
they
goodness, bro.
disassembled them and just put the game case out on the shelf.
Oh man.
Yeah, but like stuff like that. Yeah.
Man, that's insane, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Man, you got some heat. I'm telling you, man. You came in with the heat, bro.
Yeah, man. And you know what's so crazy is like I think about that, and when I was talking to Omar and we used to, you know, like I was showing him my collection, like, dude, I got all this crazy stuff. He's like, damn, dude, like that's crazy. But like thinking about like my collection, people were probably like looking at me as a reseller, like, dude, where the hell does this guy come from? Like, where did he come from? And how does he have these much?
That was gonna say my question. Like when I first heard of you, I was like, where was he?
Yeah.
Like where was this guy?
Where's
at?
he been?
Where's he been all this time,
Dude,
bro?
I've just been
How do
sitting-
you just come out with so, dude? It's just.
I've just been
mind-blowing.
sitting in the shadows and sitting on crazy inventory. Like when we wrap up this podcast, dude, I could show you like some pictures of the crazy stuff I got. Like I have a copy that I want to try to bring to SoCal unless somebody asks me for it or whatever. But I got a copy of I forget what it is, but it's a working designs game for Sega Saturn, and it's crazy because like I bought it like this though. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's not like I took the shrink wrap off of it. I bought it from this guy way long time ago, and the game looks like it just got unwrapped. Like it's unwrapped. It's CIB, but like if you looked at this game, you'd think like somebody just bought it off the shelf, took the shrink wrap off, and like put it away. Like it's one of those like working designs game, which is like extremely expensive. Now, the only working design game I was like really into was it was called Vanguard Bandits. Anytime I'm at like a vendor event, I'm always asking people, I'm like, do you have this game? There's one guy, I think he's a reseller. His name's Avi. Do you know about him? It's like he has like a tiger or like something as his like icon for his.
No.
I'll just show you. Or
Okay.
maybe, I can't even think what his name is. But basically, we befriended each other at one of the events, and he has a copy of it, but he's missing the demo disc. And I'm like, if you find that demo disc, let me know. I'll buy it off you right now.
Oh,
Man. But yeah, man, I love collecting, and I love the community behind collecting. It's one of the few things in life that like brings me joy. You know what I mean? Like some people work on cars. I think I was talking to somebody. They said the exact same thing. People find joy in doing certain things. It's like back in the day when we were coming up, like people looked at video gamers and collectors as like nerds. You know what I mean? Like you're a nerd, you're a geek, you know, and stuff like that. But like we found like a passion and like we had a love in that. You know what I mean? Like we have such a affinity for games, and that's the same as like somebody putting money into a car.
Yeah.
Or that's the same as like somebody collecting old VHS tapes. That could be the same as somebody collecting comic books.
Yeah.
Or anything. Like everybody has like a passion.
No,
so
for sure.
For me, like I absolutely love collecting video games, and I can't imagine like what this could all lead to one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm excited for the journey, man.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, I'm just looking at the facts, but I think it was Joe Rogan, and then I forgot who was talking with him, and they were talking about the benefits of playing video games, bro.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of benefits to playing video
yeah.
games, right? And I think one of them I remember is problem solving, planning, and organizing. You know, eye coordination.
Yeah.
And they said like when there's the doctors that are like high end, like a 3%, I think it was. I don't remember exactly. And then you got the doctors at the low end. He says that the higher end are the ones that used to play video games.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I was like, what? And it makes sense because when I used to play Super Mario World, I used to the SNES, right? And Star Fox 64, Star Fox on Super Nintendo. Yeah. You know, like I'm pretty quick when it comes to reflexes. Yeah. And I believe
fast reflexes, dude.
And I believe that comes from the video game. I'm like, oh, there's a bad guy on Star Fox, and it helps you out a lot. Yeah. And my mom was like, how'd you get good reflexes? And I'm like, oh, I was playing video games.
Yeah.
She's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I play video games. Yeah. Do I see something? I'm always looking around, right? Because I'm thinking like Star Fox. I'm always looking around.
But
so
it
when
like translates to real life, right?
Yeah.
That's the same thing I always tell people. I feel like this is every person who's a parent or dad. No offense to those who aren't parents or fathers or whatever, but I feel like that also translates to like, you know, people say dad reflexes. Like my dad reflexes are on point.
Yeah.
But whether or not that has to do with video games, the point is like, yes, your IQ levels are higher, your reaction times are higher, because you're paying attention so laser focused on certain things. And the crazy thing is about it is so my son, who's 5 years old, I can see that in him now.
Oh wow.
Where he likes to play games on his iPad. His game right now that he absolutely loves, is called Geometry Dash. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
But a lot of kids play it. You know, it's kind of like the equivalent of like how some kids like Fortnite or whatever.
Yeah.
But Geometry Dash had like its little run of, you know, craziness. A bunch of YouTube videos of people online and kids making videos and whatnot. But I can see his eye-hand coordination in certain things. He can take like a sandwich and like bite it and like take some like, you know, like a drink and like drink it, but he's still playing the game. And I'm like, how are you doing that? Because to me, I had to have my hand on the controller at all times. I had to have my hand on the screen at all times. He's like doing this like, and like playing at, but you have to like hop to like a musical beat.
Oh wow.
So you have to have like yeah,
Is
synchronization.
it?
Like,
What's the game about? I
so
think.
basically you're like a little square, and it like
And then let
has
me don't tell me. Is that the one you press and it kind of jumps?
yeah,
And then
yeah,
you have to kind of like.
yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's like it has EDM like
Yes,
soundtracks to it.
yes.
Yeah, dude, he is absolutely addicted to that game.
Wow.
That's like his like when he comes home from school, like he wants to play that. I'm like, all right, dude, you need to like eat a snack, you need to like decompress first, then you can play it. But like that game requires so much
Wow.
attention,
It does.
but just the way he does it, like if you saw him playing it right now, if he was in this room right now playing, and he had a bunch of snacks and like toys and stuff, this dude could like build Legos and stuff like that. It's so weird. It's so
Wow.
weird, like seeing that in a kid.
Yeah.
You know, versus like when we were the kids.
Yeah.
Parents would be like, oh, like that's just a waste of time.
Yep.
Stand too close to the TV, you're gonna go blind. All the stuff that parents used to tell us back in the day. But like now that like science and like researchers and things are backing those like claims of like, wow, like their attention spans are like starting to increase. Is just goes to show like the levels of like positivity that can go behind gaming. It's not just like a fun thing. It's like actually a fundamental and like psychological and like improvement on being a gamer.
100%. No, definitely. A side question here before we get towards the end, man. But who do you think makes the pizza better, bro? Domino's Pizza or Pizza Hut?
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut?
I gotta say it immediately.
Because why do you say that?
I think it's actually it's a little biased, but I grew up on Pizza Hut.
That's actually true.
I remember
Pizza
having
Hut, you know what? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had Domino's Pizza, but I think it was expensive. Yeah, bro. But I think it was expensive. Yeah, in the movies, in the real live action movie.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I'll look it up. But
you gotta look it up. I thought
Yeah.
Pizza Hut was always synonymous with turtles.
Let me
If
see.
it's if that's got to be like one of those like butterfly effects, because I'm like, it's got to be Pizza Hut.
No, I thought the same thing. The Domino's guy who's delivering the pizza. Let me
It's
see.
Domino's?
Yeah.
Maybe I just didn't know that, but man, like, I always thought it was Pizza Hut. Are you sure? He's looking it up, guys.
Yeah. Right here, man. Check it out. It's Domino's Pizza, bro.
What?
I know.
Get out of here! No way.
Yeah, bro.
That's
Because
the
the
first
guy,
one, yeah.
I think he's on his Vespa and he drops off the pizza.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then
Pizza
he
dude's got
hands him the
30
pizza
seconds,
and he's
yeah.
like, "Yeah, never
oh my
paid full
God,
price."
dude.
Yeah, bro.
You just blew my mind right there.
So
Okay, Domino's Pizza, like that's your favorite?
no. I always when I was a little kid, I would watch like, oh, I want Domino, but
Yeah.
Domino's Pizza was expensive.
Right. It was.
Yeah,
You're right.
so we were like, we can't afford pizza. I mean, Domino's Pizza.
Okay.
So we would and Pizza Hut was also expensive. We had to go with like the Mexican version, like Pizza Loca. And I was
Okay,
like,
yeah,
oh, I want Domino's Pizza or Pizza Hut,
Okay.
Because Pizza Hut, I don't know if you remember, but Pizza Hut had, we had La Gigante, but that was a Mexican version of Bigfoot.
Okay.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
The big 32 slice
yeah,
pizza, yeah. So we had the Mexican version of La Gigante, and I was like, oh, I don't want that. So I was always
slices, like.
but I always wanted Domino's Pizza because I saw the Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, man.
Wow. Okay,
yeah.
so that's crazy. Like maybe I just, and that's the other thing too. Like I'm sure we can talk about that at some point outside the podcast. But
Yeah.
like, have you ever went back and watched movies as a kid and like realized there's like adult jokes all over the place, like certain products that, like you said, Domino's.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was Pizza Hut that the turtles kind of attached themselves to. But I think what that might be, and that's the other thing with like butterfly effects or like what do they call it? What's the other one?
Yeah. It's you just said it right now. I forgot.
But basically, it's like
yeah.
when you remember something as a kid, and it's like when you get older, you're like, wait a minute, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
Or that's what this is, and like
Yeah.
they're saying it's something else.
Yeah.
But I remember going to Pizza Hut and Turtles, the arcade game would be there. So maybe
Yes.
that's where I'm lumping them together.
Yes, it was. Pizza Hut had it.
And I'm sure they've probably had like some cross promotional stuff with Pizza Hut.
And then
maybe,
Pizza Hut had like that salad bar.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
they had the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, like the arcade game.
The arcade game.
Yeah. So maybe that's probably what I'm associating with it. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. At the end of the day, Pizza Hut, hands down, bar
What
none,
pizza?
regardless.
What pizza? Like cheese pizza, cheese
like,
crust.
But the crazy thing is like I didn't find this out till later too. So like Pizza Hut used to have their pizza where they had like the Parmesan, like it was like the original, like Pizza Hut had a very specific topping that they used to put on their crust. Anybody that's listening to this right now, I'm sure they understand. They stopped doing that.
What?
They don't do that no more. Because I tried ordering a pizza, and I don't know if it's like maybe regional or if it's just all Pizza Huts, but they used to have this like Parmesan garlic bread, like this certain spices and things that they would put on their crust. So when you got done, you like dip it in like cheese or like marinara sauce. They don't have that no more. They totally got rid of that. So then, but now that you're asking me that question, it's funny because now Domino's is doing that. They're doing the Parmesan crust like how Pizza Hut used to have. It's not as good. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But they're starting to do it now too because we just ordered pizza the other day, like watching a movie, and I was like, oh yeah, they got like this Parmesan type pizza, and it was like trying to be kind of like Pizza Hut used to have their crust. So
I don't remember that. Like I said, all that stuff was expensive to us. We're like, oh, we're gonna get you la pizza loca. I'm like, oh man. No. And then from time to time, we would get Little Caesars, but back then Little Caesars was pretty high end. Now it's like but I still think
like the fast food pizza. I mean, all pizza's kind of it's not there's fast food.
But I still think right now, I think Pizza Hut is probably on top.
Yeah, Pizza Hut is the best.
I feel like Domino's is a little salty, bro. I feel like it's too salty. Pizza Hut, I feel like if you pick it up on time and you just pick it right on time, it's so good.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect, bro. Yeah, it's so good.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, 100%. That's just a side question I like to ask everyone. Yeah. What are the worst things that you've seen? Obviously, you've just been in the scene recently, but what are some of the things that you've seen? What's the worst things you've seen as being part of the community that you're just kind of like, oh man?
Basically, I think the only thing that I've ever seen that like, I guess maybe I would frown upon.
Yeah.
Is man, it's like I really don't want to speak about it because it's like now I'm reselling, but like it really, honestly, it's seeing other resellers lowball other regular people, if that makes sense.
If I was a reseller, I go and I try to lowball.
I'm having a garage sale, right?
Yeah. And
I'm selling these games that I have no idea what the value is.
Got it. I see what you're saying.
Here's my thing, and like I'm just saying this because I'm sure resellers are all listening to this right now, and I'm just being 100% honest and upfront. Those people are selling it to get rid of the stuff. Don't get it twisted. But I'm not going to lowball a person where I know the value of something. I want to give them a little more than what they're asking for.
Got it.
And I'm sure some resellers out there will understand what I'm trying to say is like basically if I see a bunch of Pokemon Emeralds and like all those like rare Pokemon games like in a bundle, I'm going to give people a couple $100 for it. Yeah. I just am.
Yeah, so you're saying like an example would be like, oh, you see a Pokemon Yellow, someone's selling it for $10. They have no idea what it is. Yeah. Hey, I'll give you $5 for that.
I'll give them 30 for it.
Yeah.
Just because I know how much it's worth.
But what you're saying to your point is like, if I seen someone selling it, it's $10. It's already below, obviously, what I can sell it for.
Way below.
And I'll give you $5. Because
there's some people that sell the games for $1 a piece, even out there. Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm not the one to say like, hey, don't do it as a reseller. Yeah. I'm just saying like, just be honest with people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because sometimes like I'll go to like these events, for instance, and I'll see someone that has a game priced super low. And, like, I'll kind of pull off to the side and tell the reseller, I'm a buyer. I'm like, do you know how much this game's worth, dude? Like, you got it priced way low. Like, you could sell this for way more. They're like, really? And, like, they'll get on, like, price chart. And they're like, holy shit, dude. Like, you're right. Yeah. And I just think that being honest with other people when they're selling stuff, especially if it's, like, a garage sale, it's different if it's at an auction.
Of course.
I don't care about auctions.
Yeah.
If it goes for a low on auctions, that don't matter. Bro, yeah. But if it's like mom and pop, pop up garage sale or something like that.
Trying to get rid of stuff.
Like they're selling it to make money.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And like for me.
That makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense.
Genuinely, I'll offer them something. Obviously, I'm not going to give them full price of what I think it's worth and what I know it's worth, but I'm going to give them more than what they're asking probably. Just because I feel like you owe that to them because you have a responsibility as a reseller. And some people might disagree with me, and that's fine. Yeah. But like that
generally seems like pretty valid, man. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like you see, like I just said, you see a game that they're selling for $10, and you give them $5. It's like, dude, that game's worth like $100.
Because exactly. Because you're right. Yeah. A person at a at a garage sale might be selling it for 10. You'd be like, hey, can I get it for 5?
Yeah.
You know, I'll just give them the $10
Of
if that's what
course.
they're really asking
Yeah.
for. But if it's like something really rare and obscure, I'll be like, hey, you know what? Like, I'll buy all this stuff from you, but I'll give you a little bit more. How about that? You know, because you're going to make your money back at the end of the day. Like, yeah,
you're
you want
just
to make more
investing.
money.
You're investing. Yeah.
Yeah, like
and you're gonna sit on it as well, right? Yeah.
You are, but you're going to sell it though.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course. At the
You're
end of the
eventually
day,
gonna
yeah, you'll
get through
sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And what do you think keeps you going? Like, what do you think keeps you going as far as, being a reseller? Or what's
Honestly,
keeping you going right now?
honestly, it's just like the extra income.
Okay.
You know, it's just the aspect of the extra income. Like I already have a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I already do other things. I'm trying to get to like to be a YouTube partner, so like I can get like extra
Yeah.
ad revenue from that. I mean, I'm sure all these other, reseller YouTubers out there,
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't mind that they get,
Of course.
a nice little penny from ad revenue. But I'm trying to get into that. But also just because it's just something to do, And I think that as a person who enjoys like video games and things like that, they kind of go hand in hand, especially if you're like a big collector. It doesn't make sense to sit on all that inventory and other people out there that really actually want these games. You're just not selling them. That's just
Yeah.
like I don't know. It just seems kind of like selfish to me a little bit. Like I like collecting, but as I've gotten older, I wouldn't say necessarily it's a selfish thing, but like I do realize as I've gotten older, I'm starting to collect more niche items. So like I'm really into Resident Evil, like heavy. Like just like I told you my favorite game is Shenmue, and I got like all different copies of it for all the systems. But I'm heavy into Resident Evil. I'm heavy into Fallout. Like I feel very passionate about those franchises. I'm heavy into God of War. Like those things I'll collect everything for. You know what I mean? But like if I got like over 250 complete in box Super Nintendo games, I don't mind letting those go, because to me it's like I'll save the ones that I really love, like Super Mario World, Sunset Riders, or um, Super Smash TV, all those like games I remember playing as a kid. Like I'll always have an extra copy of that just to like see, kind of like have it on a shelf and look at it like, oh yeah, I remember those days. Like one of my favorite Nintendo games was like Ninja Gaiden. I got that complete in box. I'll never sell that, just because I've had like 3 or 4 copies of it. I could sell all those, but like that one copy, I'll never sell that, or I'll never sell certain copies of Resident Evil, just because I love those games and I play them constantly. I'm like really excited about all the new ones about to come out, the remakes and all that stuff. Like I love all those games. Yeah.
That's cool. As we were about to wrap it up, what is the future for Zen Tech?
Game Zen Tech?
Yeah.
So,
Is it Game Zen Tech?
Game Zen Tech.
Game Zen Tech.
But if you were to say it like fast, it's like Games in Tech.
That's what I was
Games
thinking.
and Tech.
Yeah. Games
But
Zen Tech.
Games in
Got
Tech
it.
still sounds the same, right?
Yeah.
I would say the future for me, honestly, is just popping up at more vendor events and at reseller events. But just going to all of them and like going across the country. I know they have
nice.
stuff in like Connecticut, they have stuff in Phoenix, they have stuff in the Midwest. I think there's like the Midwest Gaming Classic, and there's like there was some event either last weekend or coming up this week that's like a big one. I think that guy Retro Rick, he's even got one
Oh
now.
yeah, he does. Have one.
So like even going to any of those events, and like it's crazy because like as you watch these YouTube channels, like all the same people pop up, and you get to know these people and like just be genuine and open and honest with everybody, and just like getting to know the community is just very, to me, that's more important right now, like where I'm at. So to me, the future is just getting to know more people, doing more events, collecting more rare stuff.
You want to go? Games and Tech wants to go nationwide, right?
I mean, I could build a website probably.
Cool.
I've got a little bit of coding experience too, so I could get into that at some point.
Yeah.
But I really just need to get all my inventory in one place, and that's really what I'm working on right now. Is just getting everything under one roof, which is scary to even think about that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, the future is just more selling, more vendor events, all that stuff, man.
God, I'm surprised you don't have any merch, man.
I don't have any merch. No.
Yeah, you should get
No.
some merch.
I do have a shirt that I've designed for myself.
Okay.
It just says Games and Tech, but it's like my logo.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in a weird cursive, like kind of like a weird 80s retro cursive that I'll be having and donning at the SoCal Retro. I think I even had it at Bits and Beers, but it was just like a very like beta version of it, like it's not even like the final version. So like at some point maybe I'll have some merch, like maybe stickers.
Yeah, stickers are cool.
Stickers is a good way
I
to
wouldn't
start.
mind buying a sweater, bro.
Yeah.
Sweater support,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, man. Anything else you would like to say before we end the podcast, man?
Honestly, just being on this podcast, honestly, has just been very eye-opening, as far as like the experience, getting to know you, Games by Omar, all these other people, and just shaking hands and like getting to know people. But to me, knowing like the future of like retro games and things like that, one thing I want to part people with is that's listening to this podcast is thinking about the future of retro games. And I've been talking to like some of my close friends about it and things like that. We're at a weird point right now in gaming where the next consoles could possibly be, I know Nintendo Switch 2 isn't, but Xbox and PlayStation, their next consoles are more than likely going to be digital only. And then after that, you got Nintendo. But then if Nintendo's the last of them all, and they continue to make, physical games, that's great. But there's going to come a point for all of us resellers, all of us gamers, where we're not going to have any more physical games ever. And that's going to be a weird time for resellers and for just gamers as a whole, because I always tell people, it's cool to collect if you love doing that, but when that happens, the market is going to be so ridiculous, and it's going to shoot up. I'm telling you guys right now listening, be ready for that, because it's going to happen. The games that you have, like say for instance you have a collection, things that you feel very passionate about, like I said, I'm niche about Resident Evil, those games are going to skyrocket. All games are going to skyrocket, even the sports games. You're talking like your Maddens that's been released like every year for like the last 20 years. Even those games are going to skyrocket because they're not going to have them anymore. And it's not like the fact that you can go online and digitally purchase certain games. It's not like you couldn't, I guess, illegally pirate the games and things like that. But to have the actual physical games, everything that we have right now, that's all we got. And if things break, technology gets old, you can't replace certain parts in like systems and consoles, those things start to become more rare. Then you got your games, you got to worry about disc rot. Those things are going to start to happen. Physical gaming is going to be absolutely insane as far as collecting in probably the next 10 years. Like I'm saying, just wait for it. It's going to happen. It's going to come. Just be patient for all those out there listening. But I'm telling you right now, when that happens, it's going to be bonkers when it comes to collecting. You think prices are high now? They're going to be absolutely outrageous when that happens.
Man,
I'm very happy that Nintendo 2 is coming out with physical games. I just read a story the other day about the next Xbox, how it's going to be PC based. So basically, the next Xbox, for the most part, they're saying is going to run on Windows. They've already kind of somewhat confirmed that. So that lets me know that they're probably going to meld the two into one. Whereas, like, you can buy like games for PC, like you go on like Windows and you can buy Xbox games, playing with the controllers. But basically, this console, it's going to consoleize the PC gaming experience. So the next Xbox that comes out, it's going to be like a hybrid console gaming platform. PlayStation, I really don't know like what they're going to do when PS6 comes out. I think they're still kind of maybe up in the air about what they're going to do as far as like physical media, because they're not making Blu-rays anymore. They just, Blu-ray is stopping production as far as making movies. I don't know if they're going to continue doing that for games, because you can still buy physical Blu-ray PS5 games right now, but I don't know if PS6 is going to be physical. We know that Nintendo is going to be physical though, and its backwards compatibility features is going to be like amazing, because you can play the whole entire Switch library. That's great for gamers. Of course. But when they stop doing physical games, man, I'm telling you right now, mark
you
my
heard
words.
it here first, right?
I'm going to be, you're going to be like, man, that Game Zen Tech dude is right. Like because it's here. It's really kind of here now. You got to think about games that were worth. I was talking to a guy on one of the Facebook groups about those. Remember those games I told you I purchased? The light gun games for PS4. He's like, yeah, dude. He's like, I had like 40 of those, and I sold them all for like $100 a piece. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. He's like, and then I sold one, for like 150 or whatever a piece. He was like, but because I was asking 340 for one of the bundles. That's what I'm asking. I got 7 available. I'm gonna keep one of each of the other ones. But I said I want to sell them for 340. That's what I think they're. He's like, because that's about where they would be worth now versus when he was selling them back in 2021. Because even in those past like 4 to 5 years that we've had, the prices of games have shot up crazily. Like ever since COVID, people started collecting.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
So imagine the jump that's going to happen when physical games are stopped being made and you can't print anymore. I mean, there's some people like limited run games that do like the physical aspect of it, but just think that day when that happens, dude, it's gonna be it's gonna be madness,
bonkers, bro. Yeah,
it's gonna be madness, dude. And these events like SoCal Retro and like Midwest Gaming Class and all those, you're gonna have like, you're not gonna have just gamers, but you're gonna have collectors. Come into these events, like people who don't even play games, that are just
trying to collect,
man.
No, definitely, man. Well, it was a pleasure having you, bro, and I appreciate you coming down and taking the time to share some knowledge, man. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a reseller. I fell in this by default, but I appreciate all the friendships, man, and I appreciate your friendship, Teo. I appreciate it, man. And thank you for coming in to the podcast and dropping your knowledge. And you heard it here first, man. Game Zen Tech, about it's gonna get crazy once they drop that Xbox and PS, man. No physical games, But thank you guys for sticking until the end. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode, and I think this might be, I'm not sure, bro. I don't know what episode. I kind of lost track. I've been editing a lot, but whatever it is, man. You have Game Zen Tech, Teo, man. Thank you for being on the show,
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Hopefully we catch you guys on the next one. Where can people follow you?
You can follow me on IG, Game Zen Tech. I even actually got a Facebook page, but I'm not really like heavily involved in that. Game Zen Tech, and then on Twitter, I actually have a Game Zen Tech. I do have a YouTube right now, but as I told you earlier, I'm really actually more into like filming locations. So if you guys want to follow that, you can.
Why not, man?
That's Explore with Teo. You can go on there. I do a lot of filming locations. I've got all kinds of crazy stuff planned coming up this year outside of just gaming. But Games of Tech on YouTube as well, and Explore Teo on YouTube as well.
That's cool, man. Teo, you're a man of many hats, bro.
I have quite a few, yeah.
Man, thanks for being again, man. And thank you guys for sticking until the end. Until the next one, Retro Ground out. Thank you, guys.
Yep.